Welcome to Easy Driver, the most reliable source of automotive information on YouTube. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Now that you know the signs, in part 2, we'll show you how to properly inspect and replace your trailer's brake pads. Let's get right into it. Regulatory compliance. Regulatory requirements for trailer brake pads vary depending on the country, state, or region you're in. However, one thing is certain: non-compliance can result in serious consequences. What happens if you're stopped by law enforcement or a regulatory agency and found to have worn out brake pads? You could face fines, penalties, and even have your trailer or tow vehicle taken out of service. Can you afford to have your trailer or tow vehicle sidelined due to non-compliance? Probably not. Some of the regulatory requirements you need to be aware of include minimum brake pad thickness, brake pad condition, and maintenance records. By staying on top of your brake pad maintenance, you can avoid these consequences and ensure your trailer is always safe to tow. So, what are you waiting for? Check your brake pads today and make sure they're in good condition. Your safety and the safety of others depends on it. Replacing trailer brake pads. Now that you know the warning signs of worn-out brake pads, it's time to think about replacing them. Replacing trailer brake pads is a relatively straightforward process, but it does require some specialized tools and materials. If you're not comfortable with the process, it's always best to consult a professional mechanic. But if you're handy with tools and want to save some money, replacing your trailer brake pads can be a DIY job. To replace your trailer brake pads, you'll need a few basic tools, including a lug wrench, a caliper puller, and a C-clamp. You'll also need to purchase replacement brake pads that are compatible with your trailer's brake system. When shopping for replacement brake pads, make sure to read the reviews and do your research to ensure you're getting a high-quality product. Choosing the right replacement pads. When it comes to choosing replacement brake pads, there are a few factors to consider. The first thing to think about is the material the brake pads are made of. You'll typically have a choice between semi-metallic, low-metallic, and non-asbestos organic, brake pads. Semi-metallic brake pads are the most common type and offer a good balance between braking performance and noise reduction. Low-metallic brake pads are a good choice if you're looking for a quieter brake pad, but they may not offer the same level of braking performance. Brake pads are a good choice if you're looking for a more environmentally friendly option, but they may wear out more quickly than other types of brake pads. In addition to the material, you'll also want to consider the thickness of the brake pads. As we discussed earlier, the recommended thickness for trailer brake pads can vary depending on the type of brake pad and the manufacturer. Generally, you want to make sure the brake pad is at least 1/8 inch thick. Any thinner than that, and it's time to replace it. Here are some things to consider when choosing replacement brake pads: material, thickness, compatibility, and price. Installation tips and precautions. Once you've purchased your replacement brake pads, it's time to install them. This is a relatively straightforward process, but there are a few things to keep in mind to ensure a safe and successful installation. First, make sure you've properly removed the old brake pads and cleaned the area around the brake caliper. You'll also want to make sure the new brake pads are properly aligned and seated in the caliper. To install the new brake pads, follow these steps. Remove the old brake pads and clean the area around the brake caliper. Inspect the brake caliper and rotor for any signs of wear or damage. Apply a thin layer of brake lubricant to the back of the new brake pads. Install the new brake pads, making sure they're properly aligned and seated in the caliper. Tighten the caliper bolts in a star pattern to ensure even pressure. Test the brakes to make sure they're functioning properly. Some other things to keep in mind when installing replacement brake pads include making sure the brake pads are properly aligned and seated in the caliper, tightening the caliper bolts in a star pattern to ensure even pressure, testing the brakes to make sure they're functioning properly, and keeping track of how often you replace your brake pads. Maintenance and prevention. To keep your trailer's brake pads in good condition, regular maintenance is key. Think of it like taking care of your car. You wouldn't drive it for years without changing the oil or checking the tires, right? The same goes for your trailer's brake pads. By staying on top of maintenance, you can prevent premature wear and ensure your trailer is always safe to tow. So, what can you do to maintain and prevent wear on your trailer's brake pads? Regular inspection schedule. It's a good idea to inspect your trailer's brake pads regularly, even if you don't notice any signs of wear. How often you inspect them depends on how often you use your trailer and the conditions you're towing in. For example, if you're towing in extreme weather or hauling heavy loads, you may need to inspect your brake pads more frequently. A good rule of thumb is to inspect your brake pads every time you take your trailer in for maintenance, or at least every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. When you inspect your brake pads, make sure to check the following: brake pad thickness, wear indicators, and visual signs of wear. Proper lubrication and cleaning. Proper lubrication and cleaning are also essential for maintaining your trailer's brake pads. When you're towing, your brake pads can get dirty and worn out from all the friction and heat. To keep them running smoothly, you need to make sure they're properly lubricated and clean. Here are a few things to keep in mind. Use the right lubricant, apply lubricant regularly, and clean your brake pads. By keeping your brake pads properly lubricated and clean, you can prevent premature wear and ensure your trailer is always safe to tow. What do you do to maintain your trailer's brake pads? Do you have a regular inspection schedule, or do you wait until you notice signs of wear? Video. Replacing trailer brake pads in a timely manner is crucial for safe towing and preventing accidents. If you notice any signs of wear, such as squealing noises or vibrations, don't hesitate to take action. Your safety and the safety of others depend on it. Check your brake pads regularly and replace them when necessary to avoid serious consequences. What will you do today to ensure your trailer's brake pads are in good condition? Please comment, like, share, and subscribe for more automotive information like this. Thank you for watching.